When Trump derangement syndrome goes bad. I've got two stories for you, and I'm going to start with the light story because admittedly the second story is shocking, and I want to make sure you have a warning that it is really seriously shocking. It's not like if you've got kids sitting around, it's not a good story. But these are stories about people with Trump derangement syndrome doing really bad things. The first story, man choked girlfriend because she asked him to stop watching impeachment trial. Why, yes. His Trump derangement syndrome was so severe that after watching Adam Schiff say for the 83rd time the exact same thing, he was still addicted to listening to that sweet, sweet serenade of Adam Schiff's voice. And so when his girlfriend tried to shut off that Siren song of Adam Schiff, this man snapped and he choked her out. I kid you not. Now, I'm kidding. Adam Schiff's voice is not a siren song. It's in fact quite the opposite. Is there some kind of mythological creature that sings and its song is so horrifying the sailors flee in random directions? If not, someone please make it. A story from Pluralist. Man choked girlfriend because she asked him to stop watching Trump impeachment. They say, a Pennsylvania man assaulted his girlfriend on Tuesday after she told him to turn off the Senate impeachment trial of President Donald Trump because she was tired of watching it. I feel for this poor woman. I mean, dude, it's like, let's be real for a second. This dude abused his girlfriend. That's not cool. Okay, I know the Trump derangement stuff is like kind of funny, but this is messed up stuff. Like, I don't care if you're watching Trump. I don't care if you're watching Friends. If your girlfriend says, I want to watch something else, you can do an argument. You don't choke her out. That's nuts. So I'm glad that, I think this guy got arrested. We'll see. Lonnie Clark, 53, is accused of choking and punching the victim at Northern York County Motel where he resides, the York Daily Record reported. Clark's girlfriend called 911 following the alleged assault. She told police her boyfriend had been drinking all day while watching the trial and was upset. So wait, maybe this is not Trump deranged? I don't know. The victim enraged Clark by telling him she wanted to watch something else. Clark allegedly called the woman dumb and stupid and began to curse at her. She told police she sat on Clark's lap to try and talk to him, prompting him to start choking her. The woman escaped Clark's grasp. He pursued and allegedly punched her multiple times. According to police documents, the victim said she was scared to return to the room until police arrived. Responding officers from the Fairview Township Police Department noted red marks on the victim's neck and right cheek, according to the York Daily Record. Clark told police the couple had gotten into an argument and that his girlfriend became aggressive, so he pushed her away. Clark is facing charges of strangulation, simple assault, and harassment. He is scheduled to appear in court for a preliminary hearing on February 24th. Clark is currently out on $5,000 bond. Now, I'll be fair. He was upset. I think it's fair to say there's a possibility he's a Trump fan and he was mad at Schiff, and Schiff drove and the horrifying bizarro siren song, the reverse siren song of Schiff drove this man to sheer insanity, resulting in him striking his girlfriend. No, but in all seriousness, okay, I know. Maybe he was trying to watch this because he's a fan of Trump and he hates Schiff. But I think it's fair to say, based on the attack on the girlfriend, watching impeachment, the dude's got TDS. Okay, let's be real. The people I know who like Trump are not watching Adam Schiff over and over and over again, glued to the screen. The people I know who hate Trump are. They are watching, they are listening. And I don't mean most people, I mean the fringe resistance types. So I'll tell you this. This guy, it seems, but maybe, was mad that she wanted him to stop watching impeachment. So he choked her out, chased her down, and punched her in the face. Now, this is a silly story, I know, but I'm warning you right now. The next story is gruesome, and again, we're gonna give it a few seconds because this next story is not for the faint of heart, and it's a nightmarish story. If you're squeamish and you don't want to hear about something gruesome, you've been warned. Now let's move on. I saved this story for the back end of this. It's from yesterday morning. There's a bit of other. I think it came out a couple days ago actually. Man allegedly kills pro-Trump boss after argument, throws American flag on his body. The suspect is allegedly anti-government and believe it is out to get him. So this dude's clearly crazy. But my general understanding is that they argued over, relative. Well, let me read it first. Because a lot of people have been spreading around a lot of stories about this. Let's see what ABC News has to say, and then we'll talk. They say, a construction worker in Florida has been accused of murdering his pro-Trump boss with a trowel after a political argument on the construction site where they both worked, and then throwing an American flag on the man's body. The incident occurred on Monday morning at approximately 10:30 a.m. when emergency dispatchers received a call from coworkers saying Mason Trevor Toney, 28, stabbed and killed their boss, 28-year-old William Stephen Knight, on the Florida Turnpike job site, according to arrest affidavit. This is literal Trump derangement syndrome. This man was unwell. He was paranoid, got into a political argument with his boss, who was pro-Trump, so he killed him. And that's sad, man. But I'll tell you this. This story made the news. I see it. Why isn't it wall-to-wall on CNN? Why isn't CNN talking about, a Trump supporter who was murdered by an anti-Trump lunatic? Why is it that if, you realize if it was the other way around, it would be the lead story on every major network. But it's not. I'll tell you this. The Trump supporters are the oppressed minority. Oh, what's that you say? They're white males? Well, hold on. Trump voters didn't win the popular vote. Therefore, they are the oppressed minority. I'm kidding, by the way, but you get the joke, right? I know that all these leftist types are like, how dare you say that Trump supporters are Nazis? They are not oppressed minorities. Yeah. Calm down. Making a joke. Let's read. The Orange County Sheriff's Office says that the murder appears related to a political dispute between the men. Knight was a big supporter of Donald Trump, while Toney was anti-government. They say Toney is anti-government and very outspoken about his beliefs, that the government is bad and out to get him, said Toney's arrest affidavit. When deputies arrived, they found Knight's body lying next to an excavator on the job site with a brand new American flag thrown onto the side of the victim's body that didn't belong to anybody on the site, according to the arrest affidavit. A preliminary report determined that the weapon used to murder Knight was a trowel, according to ABC News Houston station KTRK. After Toney allegedly killed Knight, he stole a white pickup truck and fled the scene of the crime, but was taken into custody shortly after crashing the vehicle in a brief pursuit in Brevard County, Florida. Police confirmed that Toney was arrested and taken into custody without incident in a statement on social media. Toney is currently being held in Orange County without bond. Now, immediately the left says, it's so dumb, Tim. You never talk about the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis who get arrested and who commit these crimes. That's not true. I do. Here's the thing. When you have a major mass tragedy where a white nationalist, a white supremacist, far-right guy, for whatever reason, goes out and commits a major atrocity, wall-to-wall news coverage. Guess what? I've talked about basically all of them. Why wouldn't I? It's the lead story. So this is what's crazy to me. Every day, I look at the news. I try and figure out what I think is the most important, and I arrange my stories on my channels in kind. So today at 4, I did a story on the Wuhan virus. It's not political. It's not impeachment, but I felt it was the most important. I don't know if it'll get the most traffic or views. That's not how I decide what stories I want to cover. So typically, I've been covering politics, Democrats because of impeachment. But now we've got the Wuhan quarantine. I think that's bigger news. When a far-right guy, or however you want to describe it, commits a tragedy, literally everyone talks about it, including me. And I go over the various issues. How often do these same people complaining cover this? A Trump supporter being murdered on the job site. They don't. They don't talk about it. They're obsessed with the nitty-gritty of what an extremist wants to do to other extremists. So we have some stories about recently white nationalists who were arrested because they were talking about going after far-left extremists. They wanted to kill them. Yeah, that's horrifying. But to me, I don't care if militant far-right, militant far-left are going to go battle in the streets for the most part. There's a reason why I wasn't in Charlottesville. I don't care if, the alt-right and Antifa are going to go fight each other. I don't think that's relevant to the American people. There is a reason why I was in Berkeley, where regular Trump supporters were rallying and got attacked by Antifa. Now, there were some white nationalists in Berkeley, too. The point I'm trying to make is everything I've always covered has been about how average people are being affected. This guy's a construction worker, minding his own business, talking about Trump. He's allowed to. And someone with Trump derangement syndrome so severe, he murdered this guy. Or the other dude who chokes out his girlfriend. You know what's really funny about the guy choking out his girlfriend is if you remove Trump from the equation and said woman demands boyfriend change the channel so he chokes her out, that'd be on all these feminist websites. They'd be like, this is an epidemic, men beating women. But because it was Trump derangement syndrome, all of a sudden it's like, well, we understand he was watching impeachment, right? Anyway, here's the point. First of all, I really am not interested in covering the exact same thing as everybody else. It makes no sense. Today in impeachment news, and even still, I still cover a lot of these mainstream big stories. So often I'll be like, this story is oversaturated. Literally everyone's talking about it. I'm not interested. I don't find it relevant. In this circumstance, You know the difference is between a lot of the stories I cover about Antifa? Antifa targets regular Americans. They bash people over the head who are Bernie supporters. They are nuts. When a crazy dude takes a weapon and goes into a church or something like that, we all talk about it. Everyone talks about it. So, you know, what's funny is I think the real issue they take with me covering this stuff is that I cover it. Because they would prefer the only thing I ever did was complain about, you know, the far right extremists and completely ignore what the Trump derangement syndrome people are doing, what Antifa is doing. But you get the point. This story is sad, man. I know I was being silly, a bit irreverent in this, but I really do mean it. I'm sad this guy lost his life. I don't know him, you know, and you can argue about people, you know, often try and say good things about people after they die, but I don't know who this guy is. But I think it's terribly sad we lost a life, regardless of the reason. And this is a story about a guy who got into a political argument because he liked the president. So the dude literally killed him. Like, that's messed up, man. That's seriously messed up. I hope we don't see escalation in that direction. But I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.